Hey folks, Ken here. I'm back. It's exactly August 1st, 2026. My apologies. I've been away for over a year now, unavoidably detained, as they say. I had to move out of the mountains. I was living at Priest Lake, North Idaho. I had to move out, went 40 miles away to Priest River, actually. Holed up there for 7, 8 months. Had to go through rehab because I fell downstairs. Then, because I didn't have really good access to the internet, I barely get anything there. Kind of odd to say, but the internet services there were unfortunately bad. So I held off from making any videos even then and moved to another place near the North Idaho border. Here I am, I'm all set up, ready to go. I have a lot to talk about, and it's important that I speak as quickly as I can. The other side keeps attacking me, thanks to Walker Valceus. That guy, in fact, let me put out a shout for that guy. Weird, I know. Some silliness, that's what happens when we become fathers and mothers and stuff like that. We learn how to play with the kids. Well, anyway, that's my silliness right there. Moving on. Thanks to Walker, I began to understand everything I was going through back in approximately June of 2025. At that time, I was still living in Priest Lake, and I was traveling to the library to gain access 13 miles away to gain access to the internet to produce videos for everybody. And at that time I started going through some weirdness. I was being inundated with very, very sad feelings about what was going on in the Middle East, in particular how the kids over there were starving to death. And at that time, it was big news on Al Jazeera and Alex Jones' show. And I was paying attention to it. I couldn't understand why I was so involved with downloading that stuff and coming almost to tears, folks, in a corner of the library listening to this stuff all the time when I was there at the library. And I was there, 2-3 times a week. And it preempted me from making videos. And that's the deal. I began to realize months later that what the other side was trying to do was that. Stop me from producing videos. And I don't know what else to say other than I had to go through that process, feel sad all the time, and not produce as many as I wanted. So I'm back trying to make up for it. But also, when I caught wind of that, they started to do something else. They started to come at me and try to, and I truly believe this, they started to come at me and try to detach my energy centers, the heart, from the solar plexus to the pineal. And it really took me for a quandary. I don't know if you guys have been going through that. Do you recognize that that's one of the things they can do? Again, Jay has never taught us exactly what they can do other than what they do against him, and he takes care of it. He just deletes them, right? I can't delete them, but I learned how to deal with this. And it just so happens I think I was playing with the frequencies I have. In my videos in the past, I've talked about how I'm able to broadcast my kinetic energy. It's Jay's energy that we borrowed from him. And I can broadcast this and I can tweak it to different frequencies. And I know that because, and I've said this in other videos, if I go something like this and then come back and go like that, no, different frequencies. I can feel it. I can feel the imprint of the shape of my hand on my body. And so I went as far as learning that I can change. Oh, this is another thing they do. I know that they get in my head and they stop me from talking about stuff. I forget words, Johnny on the spot, just when I'm about ready to say something that previously, seconds ago, I knew. It's not embarrassing to me anymore, and I'm wondering maybe you folks out there are experiencing it too. It's more than the toxic metals in our brain, I think. So anyway, I somehow I was able to make the connection between taking my hand and showering my body with this energy. It happens 24 hours a day. I can't stop it. I do it anyway. It changes my state of being, basically. So I started to feel, hey, better when I started to, scoot around my body and I guess think in terms of bringing my energy centers together. Now, Jay may say no. I don't know what his perspective is on this, but the fact that it seemed to make a difference to me and alleviate the quandary I've been always going through, from time to time. So I started doing that, and then what happened was, as I was moving, and this was tough stuff, folks, I'm telling you, moving to another city with all the stuff I had been building my redoubt, my hideaway, for years, stocking up on provisions and resources to rely on if in fact the economy was going to tank. And I knew about this years ago when I was living in California. I tapped into survivalblog.com and I was listening to James Wesley Rawls. And he talked about the coming hordes of people crossing state line and taking over and all this kind of stuff. And it freaked me out. Fixed up my house, sold it, got a book. In fact, I showed this book to you guys sometime this summer ago. Strategic Relocations by Joel Skousen, Skousen. Great book. It was a compendium of overviews of where one could go in any state and even in the countries around the world where to hold up if in fact there was a takedown of the economy, which we know, if you're listening to the alternative news media, will take place. But that, plus the fact that Jay's going to reset this world, we're going to be a world of hurt. And which is a major reason why I'm here. I want to help people, if I can, learn from my mistakes in setting up this redoubt, kind of shorten the time frame in which people have to maybe learn to get their act together to prepare for this, because it's going to take everything down. I hope you follow me here. Don't be in this normalcy bias which stops us from feeling the real truth out there in the world. Okay, this is really important, folks. I'd beg you, but that looks embarrassing. So I started to play with the idea of making me feel better by what I thought was connecting my energy centers together. And it was then that I said to myself, I got to structure this somehow. So I got on the internet and I started to teach myself a little bit about maybe ASL, American Sign Language. And at that time, I also was going through a period in which I began to realize my eyesight was failing me and my hearing was failing me. And little by little, I was making the connection that the energy that's going through me is causing me to lose my hearing a little bit. I've got maybe a 20% loss of hearing. And then with regard to my eyesight, because I became really good at finger spilling. In ASL, the energy is making my eyesight go bad, and it's like I've got cobwebs in my eye. And I went to the eye doctor, and he said, "Yeah, it's happening." So, you know, and I think it's no bad on Jay, because I think I've had this ability somewhat to begin with. Years ago when I was a kid, I can remember for some reason my body would start to feel things, and I never knew, like things would pop up on my left side. I didn't know where it was coming from. And I think it was because my innate ability to cause things to happen in my body with my right hand, which I always used, was occurring. Well, naturally, when Jay cranked me up, he didn't know about this. When he cranked me up, the best I can say is I had 3 opportunities to go, like, say, into a forest. On the left side, to me, there was tall grass before I would reach the forest. In the middle of, in front of me, there were saplings that I'd have to worm my way through to get to the forest. And then on the side, there was a well-worn trail of deer, which you see up, well, when I used to live up in the mountains, you'd see that they would travel. Well, I took the grass thing, and I'm putting it in terms like this because throughout my experience of developing my own metaphysical abilities, I've really come to the conclusion that everybody's got this ability that I have. It shouldn't be any different from you. If you guys don't have it, there's something going on there. And Aya, Monique, I'm sorry. I've got to tell people like this what's going on, because I really truly believe this. Now, I also believe that if down the trail here, if I start to explain, probably in another video now, explain what it is that this stuff does to me, and that it's really hard to escape the bad stuff that comes up at me. My body just freaks out, but I have control over it, and I think that if everybody were to start looking at this ability, that they'll find that in them something else happens. And I'll clarify this better in another video. But the fact is, I've been really upset because I haven't really been able to conclude or put into perspective what it is I really can do with this energy. I can, as I say, I can express it, and I can put ASL letters and words into the deaf and blind people, which I'm telling you, folks, my heart just goes out to them. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's more than a heart. Jay has told me this before. It's my heart that steps in. But folks, it's more than this. Maybe in a past life, I was deaf and blind, but these people are incredible, just incredible people. Can you imagine the way they communicate? It's by taking ASL, a form of ASL, and they touch each other like that, and they communicate like that. Folks, man, that takes a lot of metaphysical ability to understand, I think. And I'm going to talk about that in another video at some point. I get really emotional when I talk about them, because all throughout my video, I've been wanting to formalize the idea that there could be another protocol in speaking with him, but I can't. I just can't. I've tried for years and years to contact these source consultants to see if I could form some kind of a rapport with them and have them come, alongside and help me develop this ability. I should have been able, I think, to hire at least 3 source consultants, and then hire a protactile deaf blind a teacher, so we could, look at this as a possibility, explore it. That's what metaphysicality is all about, folks. You know that. It's just exploring ourselves. And I just can't struggle anymore. So, in the flames and ashes of the phoenix, I think what I'm going to end up doing is creating another channel, another YouTube channel, and I'm going to approach the deaf people because I can talk with them now just using finger spelling. I'm really good at that now, and anybody can learn it. It took me a week to learn it, and then another 3 weeks to practice it, and I can go at warp speed. I've joined, by the way, a deaf church here locally in Naples, actually, and I'm going to be giving them a presentation of what is I can do with the finger spelling. But I get excited about this because I see the prospect of creating another YouTube, a fallback, because I couldn't do what I originally wanted to do with developing, a communication protocol to the deaf and blind. And it'll work out. There are millions of people out there who would like to learn ASL, American Sign Language, but they can't because they have an issue with one hand or the other, fingers, they're missing an arm. And in my case, when I started to learn, and this is kind of funny actually, when I started to learn ASL, teach myself ASL in my spare time, I was having trouble. My friend TJ, he's deaf, he kept asking me, dude, why are you telling me to fuck off? And I go, what? What are you talking about? Well, apparently with my left hand, my middle finger, comes up all the time. I can't retract it because I was trying to save a cat years ago, and it kept latching onto my finger and wouldn't let go. And I went to the hospital. I healed with a splint on there, but it's always like that. So as I'm learning the ASL craft, I kept flipping him off. So then what I did, I think this is cool. I went back to YouTube, and there's this guy, Danny Dignan, Dignan, and he was the guy that inspired me to start to learn ASL with one hand, and it made sense, right? So I started learning just the alphabet, and how to do that. I'm just fumbling ridiculous stuff with my hands, but I did that forwards and backwards, and I started ASL spelling to music, and that's where I got excited about the idea of, with the millions of people out there that would like to speak but can't, maybe I can create another ASL protocol in which I can show everybody how it is possible to communicate with just one hand. One hand communication isn't that popular with the deaf crowd. They would prefer just to speak in terms of whole words as opposed to spelling out each word, which I'm good at. Took time, folks. It took time. And, as I said, anybody can do this. So here I am. I'm going to have to make a decision whether I'm going to use ASL fingerspelling as part of my normal video production here on this channel, or exclusively keep it to the deaf channel. And I'll leave it at that. But here's another thing. There's this issue now in the news. Y'all know about this, man. There's a war out there in the Middle East. It's being explained in great detail, I know, on the Alex Jones show there on the internet. And Tucker Carlson is way into it. I mean, there's a ton of people talking about this. And that raises the issue of, what are you folks doing out there to prepare for it, if the possibility is that there's going to be havoc in the streets? There may be something like that happening. And I understand, we know that Jay's going to be there backing us up, backing, the world up. Make sure that that's not going to happen. But you never know. Something may slip through. Everybody's got to be prepared. 2 is 1, 1 is none. That's what I learned when I was at Priest Lake. You never count on one thing backing you up. And even though Jay has said that he's going to drop ship these food producing machines, or have us, teleport up to the mothership, don't count on it. I mean, it may happen, but stock up on food and supplies and resources just the same. And by the way, I need to tell you, I think it's a big mistake that most of you, sorry to say, have not produced videos at all. That's going to be your pedigree when you're there being interviewed, I would take it, by the Akashic Records, people that administrate that. Jay had talked about how the Akashic Records, I think, can be looked at on some kind of a screen. I hope I have this right. As I recall it, there's a council that looks at people on a screen and everything they've done in life. You want to set your a little bit silly here. Again, I used to be a parent. You want to set yourself up so that you can be viewed as someone who has contributed to Jay's cause. And Jay, for years, he's basically begged us to produce videos, and for whatever reason, people haven't. And yes, I understand there are extenuating circumstances in which we don't have free time to produce something. I used to work 20-hour days in the past, and I know coming home dog tired and just hitting the sack, it was all I can do. Maybe folks are doing that, and then there are folks who are parents and work, or they're single parents even and have to work, multiple jobs. I understand that, but somewhere along the line, and after all these years, there should have been at least some time where you could have produced something like even one of those short videos that people produce on their cell phone on YouTube, short clip. Hey man, I can talk to frogs, ribbit. Yeah, just something. And it's not weird. I'm telling you, people are waking up to the fact that the metaphysical world is on its edge. It's coming. It's here, but it's coming even further. So somehow I want to entice, I want to beg, I want to implore people to do what it is that I'm doing. And it's not hard, it's not easy. You just have to commit to doing it. And I gotta tell you something. I really take it to heart. Years ago, when Jay got on one of his videos, in the middle of it, he was saying, people aren't going to be producing videos until after I'm gone. I heard that, and I couldn't freaking believe it. That shocked me. I mean, fuck you people. No offense. You can't be treating him like this. And I'm not being sycophantic to Jay, but he's making his videos still, doing his best, despite the fact that, you don't know this, he can't breathe. Did you know that? I've got the same thing I can see in him. When the metaphysicality just permeates and gestates in your body, your head, it goes through the top crown, the middle crown, the lower crown. It hits the breathing in you, and your breathing passages close up. Go back and look at his videos. I'm telling you, go back and look at his videos at JRSX Archive or JSX and pay attention. The guy's, dude, I'm telling you, or dudette, there's women looking here at my videos. It hurts to see him like that. And again, I'm not being sycophantic. I'm just telling you the truth. So really appreciate what he's done for us over the years. And as he said, download everything that you can. There is a guy, what's that guy's name? Pisoto, something or rather, Desperata. He's got a lot of videos you need to download. And I have downloaded most of his, half of them I haven't. But over the years, I've made sure that I downloaded what I could find that Jay produced. And I passed them on to people. It's going to require one, maybe 2 terabyte hard drive to house. Somebody will be selling them, I think, in the future. Anyway, so I'm all geared up to produce at least 100 different videos in the coming days, weeks, months, and I'm going to make it a point to produce them rather quickly. I just don't have time anymore to dilly-dally around with producing something as elegant as Monique Pena. I like that woman. She and Valceus are my favorite consultants, and I've downloaded their videos. Actually, I knew years in advance, or at the time they were producing them and uploading them to YouTube, that they may disappear. And then I did that with Alexis Hart, excuse me. Both he and Valceus have probably been the most, I'm trying to think of the word, most impressive maybe, followed by Monique. In the videos that they produced, this guy Alex, he's slick. Folks, if you want to start producing videos, take his lead. Now, I don't know. I haven't been on his channel for the longest time. I don't even know if he still has these, but his very 2 first videos I can recall, he was producing these videos in which he'd just sit there and just talk about what was evolving inside of himself. I didn't connect to what he was doing until months back now, currently in 2026. What he was doing is he's feeling this stuff evolving in him, and then in real time talking about it. And I realized, too late maybe, that this is the format that I should be using from now on, obviously. This is the format I should be using in talking about what's going on inside of me, just as it evolves. For you people out there who are transactional, that is, you've had years and years more experience, for example, than I have. I'm going on 9 years of having this DNA-ICUC from Jay coming up in September, but there's more people out there, thousands more. I know that. You're transactional. You've kind of done it. You know yourself. You know what direction you're going, and it's hard listening to sometimes maybe the videos that I have that I will be producing. I have to make way and understand that for you it may be more than just me talking to the newbies who've been cranked up by source consultants here or wherever they are. And by the way, folks out there, give me a list of who's doing this stuff. I need to know so I can pass this information on, give business to them with the deaf folks that I'm going to be talking to. So I'm sorry, I'm in a flurry here of thinking, but hey, what was I saying? I get so wrapped up, I'm forgetting myself. So sorry, this is the way it is. I can't tell again whether it's the toxic metals in me that makes me wander or something. I'll come back to what it is I'm talking at some point or in the next video. I want to give you a list of all the things that I intend to talk about in upcoming videos. I'm kind of way off there. I've been talking forever. I might have to do that in the next video. And certainly one of them is going to be synesthesia. Very important to talk about. Here we go. I realize now. Excuse me. With the new folks there, they're going to need some pampering, so to speak. Had to put it in those terms. Sorry, you know, I'm a parent and all that. Uh, um, People need some guidance in the beginning, and then as this midtermers, you know, we can do with some information. But the people who've been in this thing a long time, I'm going to make sure that I have links and downloads in the comment section of my videos. I might, in fact, my silliness again there, I may even produce and upload these videos, and you may see just a small portion of the links I want to ultimately put there. I need to go back to my archives and bring them forward, but stuff that is entertaining, something that all of them can refer to, upload themselves. All of you out there should be having an external hard drive accompanying your laptop or tablet, I guess, and saving stuff. And I want to tell you what links to go to in building your strategic profile and preparing for the takedown that Jay is definitely going to conduct, but also this economy that is primed and ready to take off on its own. So there's a lot for me to say. I have the equipment for, what do you call it, a forum, studio equipment. I need to learn how to set that up. I'm going to ask somebody out there, you guys, how to quickly get on board with conducting a forum if I can. There's a lot of technical stuff involved. I know in the past Frank Zhu had given us a list of what he was using to produce and upload his videos. All expensive equipment. I don't know if we can afford that. I don't know, what do I do, rob a bank or something? I'll figure something out. But it's important that I do this because as things start to collide, as things start to tank in the economy, I'm telling you, you're going to need some guidance. We need to hook up. Everybody needs to get on board. Show Jay that, you know, the respect that he deserves. Again, I'm not being sycophantic. Sycophantic is the word. I'm just trying to make it a good thing for all of us to reconstitute. That's a word for you. Reconstitute. Start these videos things again. All those people in the past who had videos and now they don't exist. People like Sam Sylvain, who's the Faye guy. I miss that guy. He's been gone a long time. There's been Ilona Beard, Beard. She's from the Netherlands. She was going through some real tough times. I wish she could come back and reinstall her videos or talk about what she's been going through ever since. And again, you know, there's Bershuander and there's you know, I am Monique Pena. Again, I love that name. Ooh, it sounds elegant. And everybody. So I'm going to sign off. Again, as I always say, be kind, be good, give back to community for sure. I'll have to tell you what I've been doing ever since I've left the mountains. I still give back to community because you want to surround yourself with people like-minded who can be your backup if things go wrong. So I will get into that some other time. So what can I say? Adios, amigos.